I feel unwanted, and that feeling is a feeling that's always with me in many different scenarios, whether it's a platonic relationship, a family relationship, or a romantic relationship. I genuinely always feel unwanted. And it's a feeling that almost feels impossible to shake because in those situations, you start to overanalyze everything. You start to feel this overbearing feeling of, I don't belong here. I don't matter to you. You don't want to talk to me. You feel like you have to talk to me. And that is one of the most terrifying feelings you have. Because thinking that people don't like you in any way, shape, or form, or they don't genuinely want to spend time with you in any way, shape, or form, it's a very difficult feeling to navigate. And, thinking like the mentality of, oh, my best friend doesn't want to talk to me. Like, he's just calling me because he has to. Or, like, my family doesn't want to talk to me or invite me to this thing. They just are doing it because they have to. Like, those kind of things are very difficult to deal with. And on the same level, it's the same thing of like if your partner kisses you, but it doesn't feel the same way it used to, you start to develop this feeling of, wow, they are only doing this out of obligation. They're not doing this because they genuinely love me or they genuinely want to do this. And I found myself kind of battling this again recently in my life, probably the last few months or so, of like feeling like I am too much. I'm too obnoxious. I'm too annoying. I care too much. So many things like that I feel like are just overbearing or like overwhelming as like a friend or a family member or a best friend or whatever the case is. Like I feel like I'm too much for people to tolerate for extended periods of time, and it begins to become kind of defeating in a sense where you feel like there's nothing you can do right because everything you do seems to push people away. It seems to upset people. And for someone like me who doesn't do anything to intentionally try to upset anyone, I try to stay away from arguments. I try to stay away from speaking up even if I think it might upset the other person. It's a very upsetting and uneasing feeling to kind of have. One of the most unhealthy side effects of this is changing the way you act or the way you talk or even sometimes the way you think just so you can be perceived by others better and maybe feel more wanted, and hoping that you'll if you fit in a little bit better that people will want to be around you more. And I know in the thought process of it, it seems like such a great idea, and I know because I've done it and I've been there, and I slightly do it to this day still. But it's genuinely not, because at the end of the day, people are very good at figuring out who is real and who is fake. And at the end of the day, I myself included don't want to be friends with someone who's a fake ass person around me. It just doesn't have any real reason. You want real friends. You want people who are their genuine selves around you, and I guarantee that almost nobody is fully genuine around almost anybody. I know for me, there's a very few amount of people who I could name that I am that way around. Um, but it's a very hard thing to do, and it's very terrifying to do because, again, the fear of not being wanted is a very big fear for not only myself, but I know a lot of people in this world. But of course, it's not just a permanent feeling. It's not just a thing that will always stick around. There are ways to cope and there are ways to heal. And one of the biggest things I think that will always help is therapy or counseling or some form of just speaking to somebody and getting some feedback. And of course, a licensed professional is the best bet, but not everyone has the ability to do that. So finding someone you trust and confiding in them is also a great method. And honestly, just going out there and putting yourself into social situations is one of the best things you can do. It's been something that has helped me throughout the years. It's just like going to concerts and meeting random people. Like I will go to concerts alone and I will just meet random people. Those will be my friends for the night. We won't probably never talk again, but for the night, those are slime. Those are bestie. Those are twin, whatever you want to call them. They're my homies for the night. And I think of course the biggest thing in this though is always going to be self-acceptance. You have to recognize that Not everyone's gonna like you. Not everyone's gonna rock with your ideas or your thoughts or your speech pattern or whatever the case is. At the end of the day, sometimes as people, we just don't like other people sometimes. That's okay. And that's just kind of the thing you gotta learn to accept. Because really, if somebody talks to you consistently and they reach out to you and they check on you, see if you're okay, actually how you doing, whatever, even if it's small conversation. Reality is they probably rock with you enough to do that. Because nobody is going to go out of their way and do those kind of things. And if people aren't doing that, it doesn't necessarily mean they're not your friend or y'all aren't homies or whatever the case is. But you're probably more so acquaintances than anything. And that's also okay. But either way, if someone is willing to give their time, the chances are it's not obligatory and it's more so just someone rocking with you enough to give you that time. So, yeah, that's kind of it. I think that's my rant on being unwanted. Yeah, thanks. Bye.